I had just got through checking this with the air to make sure that forward and reverse worked right, this transmission. We changed the valve assembly, and I'm going to let me grab the original one here. And this one here nobody seems to quite know right off, but there's 4 different valve assemblies. This is officially a 1016 Borg-Warner transmission. They're used in 310 John Deere's, they're used in 580 case backhoes, which is what this one was originally ordered for. This one was ordered as a rebuild because they had gone out, one of them had gone out in the locomotive originally. I bought one for a 580E, which was supposed to be a Borg-Warner 1016-0050. What that 0050 means, nobody seems to quite know now. I bought it brand new in 2005 through Borg-Warner distributor. Don't know. But that was supposed to be the one for a 580E at that time. And the reason why I bought it from Borg-Warner distributor instead of from Case was because Case had been 3 months promising that they would have it tomorrow, and I never got it, buying a new transmission through them. So I finally canceled that order and just bought it from Borg. Currently, Velvet Drive still exists making boat transmissions. They don't seem to be making any of the equipment transmissions, and some of the parts are hit and miss. For Velvet Drive or the equipment version of this, there's 4 different valves. They have, and they all go in, have the same general spacing for their ports, but they have different actuation for the shifting and the neutralizing. And so this was the one we started with, which is the later version of the ones that have a handle and just a single neutralizer. This one originally has a solenoid that goes on here, and the solenoid pushes a small rod inside of this to make it go into neutral. So if you have the solenoid missing, the extension, you just need a nut on here instead of it, it would work fine. You just would not have a way to make it go into neutral when you hit your left brake pedal. This one that we have in here now, because there are aftermarket replacements available that match this one has a button. It's an older style, and it has a button that you push in to make it drive. Its default position is being in neutral. So that's totally different. When they made the change, I don't know. But they made the change. And what we did with this, again, since this doesn't need a neutral somewhere else, we put a set screw in here and then a lock nut. This is the previous base for the solenoid that was used with this one. Instead of making something new, I just drilled it and tapped it after I cut it off, drilled it, tapped it for 3/4 tin, put a 1-inch set screw in there, and a jam nut on top of it. So that lets it push the button in all the time, which is what we need. The other 2 versions of it have got external solenoids, and I don't have any of those here to look at, but there's a couple of newer versions that they use that have external solenoids. One of them has an external solenoid just plumbed in, external, not functioning with this valve, but a separate. This, I think, is still the pressure relief in there. This is a total pressure relief and a pressure relief for the torque converter are both in this valve, which if you had a Velvet Drive, of course, you don't need a charge pressure relief for the torque converter because you don't have a torque converter. We put a new pump on it also. Two things that were interesting here also for people that are working with these and some unknown information about them. When I pulled this apart, all of the books and stuff for this and the rebuild kits give you 2 steel reverse plates, 2 plates, and they give you 3 frictions. which then leaves the friction, and it probably would have ran okay, but it leaves the friction running on the case. The way this one had been assembled, it had a third steel originally, which was against the case. And so as this one actually had clearance for that third steel, I went ahead and put one in there. So since it had room for it, it clearanced, it still applies, it applies fine because it's just extra height, but it had enough room to allow it to release. I don't know if they can all do that, which would help save your case. And since these are no longer being made, saving your case could be a real good thing. So I went ahead and put in, I had bought 2 kits trying to make sure I had lots of extra pieces. Another thing you will hear come up a lot of times with these is the output seal. They say that the output seal that's in the kits that you buy from people have got everything you need unless you have a very early transmission. The transmission was still being made in 2005. The seals that are in the kit are way bigger. I think the reality is the seal that they give you only fits the very latest transmission. I think there's a misunderstanding on that with the people that put the kits together. I think they copied the latest spec that Case or John Deere had when they put them out. And pretty much this seal here that doesn't come with the kit is going to fit a whole bunch of your case equipment from your 430 all the way up to a 680, as near as I can tell. And the magic number on this is a national number, 473461. And the reason I say that is, had I known before I broke into the kit and got this, I should have looked at it sooner. You know, I just figured since people said everything was here except for the seal, as they were told by the seller of the kit that was for a very early model. No, this is the model that most of them have. I've been into enough of these before this. This is the seal most of them have, on the Case brand anyway. So for the most part, you're going to have a wrong seal. Get this seal before you start. You might waste $10. Now what I'm doing is I'm wasting $20 because it wasn't in town. I bought 2 of them. They're coming on Amazon and 2 days. So had I done that sooner, we would have been further ahead. But those are little things I found out about it. Pretty straightforward little transmission. Lots of other people on YouTube that have rebuilt them, and we didn't have the situation to be filming all the way through rebuilding it anyway. So that's, yeah, just wanted to update people on unique things that I found out about this particular model as we're using it for the locomotive. We also had modified our setup here a little bit. We have another pan off to the side so that we can have a couple gallons of extra oil in here, so there's more reservoir for it than what it originally has. And I guess that's all of the information I can put out today on this one. Hopefully you don't have too much trouble finding parts and making them work.